What's up, RB? Welcome to the first of many podcasts coming live from Podcast Studio A, or the PSA Studio, as they like to call it around the streets here at RB. I'm Dave Mannon, the Assistant Principal of Student Affairs, and my co-host,
Kylie Lindquist, Assistant Principal for Curriculum and Instruction.
Before we get started here, we wanted to thank our RBTV staff, Gary Prokes and Lorenzo Cordova. We came up with this idea a couple months ago, and through their creative geniuses, we were able to bring this to what it is today. So we have a live podcast studio, and we're going to be utilizing Zoom to bring guests in and talk about current events and things that are going on at RB.
Don't forget to thank our engineer on the board across the window over here, Cara Weinberg, Dean of Students Extraordinaire at RBHS.
Hello.
She'll be on the ones and twos and chiming in as we go along here, helping us out. So if you are a student and you are interested in any RBTV classes or coursework, you too can develop a podcast or film a show or have your hand in the many things that they do around here. So thanks, RBTV. And here, we're going to get started here in a little bit. Since Thanksgiving is right around the corner, our first show is dedicated to the students and staff at RB. We're here. We're going to hear from some of our students in regards to their in-person or e-learning experiences, as well as their participation in extracurricular activities. Even though we have a pandemic going on, we still had some awesome extracurriculars that started up in the fall and had some great outcomes and performances. So we're going to hear from our students on that. Updates before we get going here. If you are a student looking to get a free lunch, yes, I said free lunch. Those are going to start on Monday at Door C, next Monday at Door C. And there is no registration. There's nothing else you need to do other than come by our drop-up pickup line. We're going to give you 7 days of free lunch for any family member that isn't from ages 1 to 18 that are in the car. So you heard it right, free lunch. We're going to give you 7 of them for the week starting on Monday, and then every Monday after that at Door C from 11 to 1. So hopefully you take advantage of that offering from the district. We're pretty excited about it.
Mr. Mannon, what do you have to do to qualify for that?
Absolutely nothing.
So any student at RB can just roll up to Door C, get 7 days worth of lunches, and be on their way.
Yep.
That's a pretty cool program. We should take advantage of that, students, if you need it.
Thank you, Quest, for packaging all those lunches. I think they said they were going to do around 5,000 lunches for our community. And I know our feeder schools are in this program as well. It's a grant we received from Quest, who is our food service provider. We want to thank Dr. Smetana and her work in getting that up and running too. So great stuff. And all right, let's get going. Right now, we're going to bring in, I believe we have 3 guests with us today. We have Michael DeLeonardis, Ella Johnson, and Haley Rayfield. Hey guys, how are you?
Doing great. How about you?
Fantastic.
Good.
Awesome.
Michael is like a magician. How can you do that, Michael? How do you get yourself to be sideways?
Am I sideways?
Yeah, you're sideways. There we go.
Hey.
All right.
Much better. Sorry about that.
No, you're great. It's okay.
Hey, well, thanks for jumping on with us today. And this is our pilot program, but we're really excited to get it up and running. And you guys have been an integral part in what we do here at RB, not only in the classroom, but also in our extracurriculars. So I'm just going to start with Haley and Ella. And Michael, we're going to come back to you in a little bit and talk about your experiences. I know you had some awesome things you were doing with RBTV. We'll get into that a little bit later. But first, we're going to talk to Haley and Ella about their experiences with our fall play production. So first, how did it start? How did it go? Tell us anything in between.
Yeah. So we always start off by getting our audition packets right. And it was a little bit surprising at first when we found out that we were able to do like a fall play. And I never doubt our directors. Like, I knew they had been working all summer to figure out how to do it. But, I think a lot of us just didn't want to get our hopes up. Since I know for me, like a lot of friends that I have that do theater at other schools, like they aren't able to do anything sort of like what we did, anything really close to a real production. So we feel really lucky that we were able to do that. And, of course, there were a lot of like sanitizing, and like we had to figure out masks and gloves, and we had a few COVID scares here and there. But yeah, we feel really lucky that we were able to do something at all.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many schools that aren't even doing any productions and we're doing Zoom. And so we're super grateful to have been able to act in person with each other, to even get, a smidge of our senior show.
Phenomenal. What you guys did, I can't even put words to it, to be honest with you. I think our entire staff, our community, and I spoke to many people that have watched it, are just truly amazed by the production. And I know the TV production as well. Thought everything went fantastic. I want to thank Mrs. Johnson and Ms. Stanky for all their work. Those are our directors. And just the monumental task of social distancing, filming, directing, linking, streaming, whatever other thing that they had to do, the set build, the set design, all that stuff, phenomenal. And I think RBTV was able to record that, and we do have a link that's going to go up on social media here soon so that our community can watch that. I know it was on Broadway was it on demand?
Yep, Broadway on demand, yeah.
Okay, and so we watched it through that link, but now I think we're going to be able to put it through our social media avenues, and so the entire community can watch it if they haven't. And I highly suggest that you do that because, like you said, Ella, schools around the state and the country were not even close to having the opportunities that presented themselves here. And thankful that we had a group of students that kept safety in mind, that were really good about wearing their masks and sanitizing, washing their hands, keeping their distance while learning their lines and acting.
Yeah. And the courage that it takes for, Ms. Stanky and Mrs. Johnson to put that show on, because you don't know what that's going to look like, right? You have no idea how you're going to pull something like that off. And the courage to take the leap of faith on behalf of our students is pretty awesome. Yeah, it was just incredible all around. I absolutely agree.
What was your guys' favorite parts?
I think this is kind of random, but especially with the masks and like all these new sort of things we kind of were just thrown at us that normally we wouldn't have to deal with. I think it made me personally, and I know like a lot of other people in the production, it made me a stronger actor, and it made me, with the mask, like you can only see like up here, and then we just like had the clear mask too, but it's different than like if you were wearing nothing at all. So we really had to be creative with like different ways to act. And like we weren't able to touch each other as much. So I'm really glad that we had the opportunity to grow and we got to develop our characters even more under these really unique circumstances.
Yeah, I completely agree. And also, like with a normal show, there are a lot of people, and so you create a lot of new friendships. And we knew that this was going to have to be a smaller show. But even then, with such a small cast, we really created, I think, long-lasting friendships and just, really got to know our peers in a way that we might not have been able to outside of, COVID and everything, with everything going on.
Yeah, and with a smaller cast, we also had a lot more opportunities to work closer or more closely with the directors on developing our characters and like relationships with other characters. So that was really special too.
That's awesome. It's like in this time of all times, right? That human interaction, right? That connectivity is so much more important because we don't get it in so many other places. And I know that theater is a place where you really find a family. So that's awesome that you guys were able to have that in the mix of everything else. That's really heartwarming to hear.
Well, thank you guys for sharing your experience. Before you go, I just want to read a little statement here that we received hot off the press. Received it actually from your director. She said that every year, the Illinois High School Theater Festival, together 1,000 students from all over the state. They hosted either at U of I or ISU. These festivals engage students in all things theater, from acting and technical workshops to networking events for aspiring actors. The all-state performance is highly coveted honor for which students must audition and or interview. It is the theater's world of making the theater world's version of making state for athletics. So we've had 3 of our Bulldogs. Ella Johnson, who is here with us right now, she was awarded a position in the state performance for costumes. Katie Cullinan for as a performer, and Peter Giannettis, I think I said that right, for sound. And so we want to thank all of you guys for what you do here at RB, and then also taking your talents on the state level and representing us on that stage as well. So thank you so much. We are going to now put you guys in a waiting room. We're going to talk to our next guest, and we'll come back and talk about your learning experience this year. Thank you so much.
See you soon.
All right, our next guest is Omar Padilla. Omar is part of our student association. There's Omar. How you doing, Omar?
Good. How are you guys?
Hey, Omar. Good to see you.
Yeah, you guys too.
Omar, thanks for joining us from the PSA studio. You are live right now on the RB podcast. We don't really have a name for this yet. I think we're going to call it What's Up.
What's up, RB?
What's up, RB? So, Omar, we want to know what's up. How are things been?
Good. Just finding different ways to stay motivated, staying ahead of things, getting on top of things, especially with senior year and then my classes, trying to make sure I'm doing well.
Good. It's good to hear. I hear you are still an integral part of student association. What's going on with that?
Yeah, so it's been interesting trying to incorporate some of the extremely large projects that we put together for student association into this kind of COVID world that we have now. Where we want to help people, but sometimes it's safer if we don't, if we take a step back, if we think it through. So it's neat to see how we can do what we want to do in a different way. So
far this year, you guys have had a couple events, where you've donated some items and things like that. Mm-hmm. You have a couple current events coming up for the holidays. You want to just touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. So this past month, we actually did the blood drive. The blood drive I thought was great. I really enjoyed the idea of having the buses on the outside. It was something we had the Vitalant buses come, so that was different. But it worked, and it got people. We got, I think, 34 or 33 pints of blood. So obviously that helped. We have upcoming the Colton Blanket Drive, which is something that's really, really big, especially since we've had to locate another organization to collect those and bring those in, since the organization we typically do isn't accepting them anymore at this time, at least. So yeah, we have things in the works. Just looking, honestly, we have time, and so we're just time and money. So we're just looking where we can figure it out and help her out wherever we can.
Nice. And you guys did the Thanksgiving baskets this year again, didn't you?
Yeah, we just actually finished up on the Thanksgiving baskets. So typically we collect foods and canned goods, but this year we just collected, financially. So we are able to put gift cards together so that these people can buy their own Thanksgiving dinners.
That's great. That's always one of my favorite outreach activities that SA does every year.
Hey, Omar, so if our students are not a part of SA and still want to join in, is there an opportunity for them to do that?
Oh, yeah. Student Association, we're always available. We typically during the school year, we always meet Wednesdays. We still do. Sometimes right now we're doing every other week just because, we obviously, there's not as much to talk about at the moment, but you can still be a member, be an active. It's really nice to take part in one of these projects and say, hey, I helped out with that, or hey, I donated $1, $5, I gave a coat, a blanket, anything. It's really nice to be able to do a good deed and also help out the school while you go along.
It's great. Hey, it's good to see you. I really appreciate you jumping on. So we have one more guest, and so what our plan is to put you to the waiting room. We're going to bring the next guest in, and then we're going to bring all of our guests together. I just want to hear you talk about your experiences this year. If you want to say some thanks to teachers that are going above and beyond, feel free to do that soon. So we're going to talk to you in a second.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Omar. Hey, Michael, thanks for joining us today. I was sent a link, and I didn't even know this was going on, a YouTube link of a production, a documentary, I should say, that you completed regarding the kind of a behind the scenes look of the fall play. I just want to say I was wowed by what you were able to put together. just the production level was very high end. Your interviews, the camera work. I mean, you had to do it all. You're a one-man show. Can you tell us a little bit about like how you came up with that idea and then how things went?
Well, it was mostly, I was looking for a project to do at the beginning of the year, and I thought, there's like throughout this whole thing, I've kind of seen that like, there's a lot of negatives that go on with the whole COVID thing, but there's also some positives. So I kind of wanted to highlight some of the positives that were going on in the school, and that was that I have the opportunity to be part of the most unique play ever, produced by the RB Theater Department, which is really, awesome. And I knew we were going to broadcast it. So I thought, oh, well, what if I, gave something, it was also something special to, give to the people that the seniors that, had this stripped away from them. So it kind of gives them something to, remember the production by. And I was really happy with how it turned out.
That's awesome. I love that. That's where your heart was, thinking about giving back to the students too. That's really cool, Michael.
So
Yeah.
the fall play probably took a couple months plus from audition to performance. When did your work start and how long did it take you to complete that?
I started, I started a little bit back, and I got there about the time they were starting, rehearsals and everything. So I got into contact with Miss Stanky, and she was very, very helpful, very informative, gave me everything I needed to know, gave me names of people to interview, gave me times I can come in. It was very good. So I just came in a couple of days and I shot some B-roll, shot some interviews, and ended up putting it all together, and it came out really good.
Yeah, we're excited to share that out. I think it's public now. Hopefully, if not, it will be soon. Because right after this, I received that link a couple of days ago, and I've been waiting to talk to you before you release that. So we're excited to put that out there for everyone to see. Because really, when you look at trying to do anything normal during a pandemic, what you're able to pull off was as normal as possible. At least that's how it appeared on the YouTube and your documentary. So I should stop calling it YouTube. What is the name of it? What's your title?
Making of Clue was the title of the production.
Awesome. And our fall play production was Clue, and Clue will be broadcast on the RBTV station Thanksgiving week. And to check the TV schedule on rbtv.com, or sorry, not rbtv.com, rbtv.tv for more details. So I'm sure your production will be included in some of that stuff hopefully soon. If not, we're gonna bend Mr. Prokes' arm to get it to be done. All right, so we asked the fall play some of our cast members this question. What was your fondest memory or favorite memory of creating your documentary?
My favorite part of making it was just getting to do something that kind of felt regular, which was making a project and doing it with people that are awesome to work with. Everybody was always so willing to help, and that's awesome. And it not being in school, and everything, was kind of nice just to get out of the house and be productive with some time.
How many man hours does it take to put together something like that, Michael? Like when you go in, you shoot a couple days a week, and you get everything that you need from the physical space, and then you go back and you're editing together your documentary. How long does something like that take you to really get to that finished product?
I think in all, like I only came in for maybe about 4 or 5 days.
Mhm.
And, that was including the time I came in to help set up for the actual broadcast. So I got some B-roll then, and then I got some B-roll during the rehearsals. And, I probably ended up having about 2 hours of footage, and then you have to go through all that, cut it all up, make it to, whatever you want it to be. And then editing, I was editing for probably about 2 or 3 weeks. And then by the end, it came to the thing. So yeah, that's about it. It wasn't too much.
What does B-roll mean? When you say that, what do you mean?
Just like the short clips that you see, like the video that is like kind of just like, it's not like the interviews, but it was like the stuff that was just kind of like side.
Got it.
Okay. It was, yeah.
Perfect. Little education from Michael too. Michael's like RBTV pro. I've spent some time on RBTV throughout the pandemic, and every time I go in, there's Michael. He's running a camera. He's doing something. So he's a dedicated and well-valued member of RBTV.
Michael, you're a senior. You got a lot of experience behind your belt. What's next steps for you?
Right now, Oh, well, as of right now, I just got I just got accepted to the 4 schools that I applied to, all for, TV production, which has been
Awesome.
thank
That's
you.
awesome. All
Congrats.
4. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now
So I was
now the
really
process of whittling it down to which one you really want.
oh, it's been brutal. I've had good experiences with all the schools. They've been all very kind, all very informative, and it's been hard to kind of whittle it down, but it's gonna have to get there eventually. So
Sure.
that's where I'm at
Sure.
right now.
Good for you.
Well, you got a bright future ahead of you, Michael. Thank you for all you did this fall for our cast, our community, and putting together a documentary for those to see. So if you want to hang here, we're going to bring everybody back and just talk about your learning experiences and say some things about our staff for this year. All right. So thanks for sharing your insights, whether it's extracurricular on the student association side with the events that are going around throughout the school. Michael, your insight on what you did as part of the documentary and the fall play. I think everyone should know that, we have over 40 plus club offerings here, as well as 40 plus athletics. And even though we were in a pandemic in the fall and maybe learning, the first part of it remotely, there are many opportunities for kids to get involved in through the website. To get the first step would just be, if you're looking to get involved, you're a student out there watching this, just advocate for yourself, email the sponsors of interest, talk to other students, and then just kind of find your niche here. There's so much to do. And, I think you should just try it out, sprinkle, and try. I don't know. What am I trying to say here? Just try everything.
Yeah, try everything.
right?
Absolutely. Mr. Mannon is probably the biggest advocate I've ever met of getting kids involved and having really cool, unique experiences. The students that we are talking to today are representative of some of those experiences that Mr. Mannon tries to make sure everybody knows all about, so we can get involved. These are, 4 of some of the most involved students we have. And you can see their smiling faces, except for Omar a little bit. He looks a little bit sleepy, but they all look happy. They're happy because they're involved and they're connected to each other and to RB, and that's awesome.
So we talked about the extracurricular side. That's kind of my space, my area, along with our club sponsors. We want to thank them for all that they did, because their creativity really was the spark to what we were able to do for the remainder of the year for our kids. And it's not only the fall play, it's, all of our virtual activities, whether it's the gaming club, our minority empowerment club, chess. I mean, the list goes on and on. So we want to thank all of our sponsors. Now we want to get to more of the curriculum side, which is more Miss Lindquist's area, and talk about how learning has been so far. And if you want to give, an example of something that's been really great, you want to give some thanks to a teacher for going above and beyond, we want to hear it. So I'm going to kick it to you guys. Let's hear your thoughts.
Yeah, tell me something that's really, really wowing you in your classrooms and that's going really well with remote learning. Don't all jump in at once. There we go, Michael. Thank you.
One thing, if I say anything, if there's anything that I have to say, is that the teachers have always, even from the beginning of this, have always tried to get you involved, always tried to get you to turn on your camera, always try to get you involved in the class, and that's awesome. I don't know how I would feel about looking at like 30 black screens in a classroom, but they always keep the energy up. They always try to keep you involved, and they always try to make your day a little bit better.
That's great to hear. That's really great to hear. Omar, are you going to your classes?
Oh, Miss Lindquist, don't you just love to pick on me?
I just want to make sure that you're getting to all your classes, Omar, and that you're having a really good experience.
Yeah, I think what we have to go through, every day now with going through every class, it's different. It's not what we're usually used to, but it's what we have. So we have to get used to it one way or another. And I think teachers have been very accepting and understanding of this difficult transition, because of course, I want to be in school. I think we all do.
Yeah,
it's a plus, but there's a situation going on and we can't. It's for the safety of everyone. And I just think it means a lot that teachers are able to understand that we're trying our best here, and we know that they are as well. So it's a lot of give and take. It's a lot of mutual respect. I think that's very huge here.
It has been a roller coaster. So like I said, we started off the year in a remote fashion. And then we were able to get to 25%, which we saw almost 10% of the 25 come in person. And we have done, along with Miss Weinberg and Mr. Hock as our deans, huge amount of work to make sure that this building is safe and ready to go to invite kids into our building, which we haven't seen since March. And we did that for about a month, and we saw some great successes. And I know we have students that come in daily for supports, and we've seen tremendous growth on their end as well. So, and then unfortunately, 2 days ago,
Yep,
the tier 3 mitigations came out, and now, we're back to over remote fashion here. And so it has been literally a roller coaster ride. And while, students are learning from a remote end, the students that came in person, I think, benefited as well. And our teachers are continuing to get creative on their instructional lesson plans. It's a tailor to both. And I've seen that this week. And I was in some math classrooms where they're projecting screens and students are learning on both ends and engaging in discussions and conversations. So who knows where this pandemic is going to go for us. And I thank you guys for enduring it. It's been rough. What else? What other things have you guys experienced so far this year?
I will say that I'm very impressed with how much both students and staff members have adapted to this bizarre change. Yesterday we had a shenanigans meeting. It was our last one before, phase 3. And there were half of us that were sitting at RB in person, and then the other half of us were on Zoom. And I was the moderator in person. So I had the screen projected with all the Zoom people and the chat. And it was so difficult. I kept looking at the chat every 5 minutes, and I'd be oh, I missed so much. And this person was talking online, and then this person was talking in person. So we were whoa, it was insane. I don't know how teachers do it, but I'm very impressed.
You got a taste of the teacher lens, right? Of all the things that you have to do at once. Yeah, that's cool that you got to do that. Peeling back a little bit, see behind the curtain. What about you, Ella? What has been, one of your takeaways from the way that this year has gone so far?
I think that I'll just try our best with the situation that we're given, and even though it's not ideal, and like Omar said, I think every one of us wants to be back at school, once it's safe. But I'm so happy that we have some staff members who are really, trying to reach out and say, hey, if you need any help, please come talk to me. Or I understand if you can't turn your camera on right now, that's totally fine. And just, I'm really proud to be able to say that we had that type of relationship with our teachers where we both trust each other and are able to understand what each of us are going through.
That's awesome. I think I said it earlier. I think the connectivity and the relationships are so important right now. And I think that what I'm hearing from you guys is the relationships that you've built with your teachers, even in this weirdest of times, right, are really helping be a beacon that guides you through this. And that really makes me happy. That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that.
If I can interrupt Miss Lindquist real quick.
I'm used to it, Omar. Go ahead. I haven't seen you for a while, Omar. We got to get a little banter in.
Yeah, let's keep it that way.
Okay. We got me.
So I really want to give a shout out to some of my teachers doing a really good job. I know Miss Kaler this week, she started doing her new type of teaching where she has the projected PowerPoint on the projector, and then she has it on the screen on her screen as well. So we're able to follow along with the notes, but then also she's pointing to things on the board. I've learned I really like that because we're able to take the notes at the same time, but then also follow along as if we're sitting right there in front of her. I feel like that's really great. And one of the things that I really like is just from generally my teachers is that we all learn at different paces, and this isn't new. This isn't something that we haven't seen before. And so right now with all these different assignments, I've seen that teachers are letting kids work by themselves, but also leaving the time or putting us in breakout rooms if you don't want to work with the teacher, and I think this is just exceptional because we all work at different levels, and this is really I feel like for seniors, this is really what college is going to be like for us, at least. Here's the assignment, do it. I have office hours if you need me, like get to me if you need me. So I think this is like showing me like what it's actually going to be like, and maybe I can do it without her, and she can focus on students who are maybe falling behind or need a little bit extra help, which isn't a bad thing, especially right now. I just think it's really good in what they've been doing.
That's awesome. Mrs. Kaler in our science department is piloting some new technology where she has a larger microphone in her classroom so that she's not tethered to her Zoom as much. So that microphone goes in the middle of the room, and then she has the capability of moving around, like Omar said, to the board and making it feel a little bit right, like you're in an actual classroom. So it's really awesome to hear that that's working out good for you.
To go off of what Omar said, though, I think this year of school has taught me anything. It's all about self-responsibility. It's all knowing that you have a list of tasks or whatever you have to do, and the teacher's always there to help you, always guiding you along the way, but like you have to be the one that makes that decision to either do your work or not to do your work. And it's really been great, and it's going to be good for when you go off to college, and there's still teachers that help you, but you're expected to do whatever you got to do.
Absolutely. You're dipping your toe a little bit, right? Before you get in with the Sharks when you're all the way out of RB. That's grown-up stuff, Michael. That's really cool to hear. The recognition, right? That it's all about like the self-reliance piece right now. That's awesome.
Yeah, I also kind of going off of that, I've personally gotten a lot better with communicating with my teachers, because obviously now we really have to, because I can't just like walk in their classroom and be like, hey, like I'm sure they're so sick of me because I email them like all the time, like, hey, my Wi-Fi is a little slow, so this might be like 5 minutes late tonight, just so you know. Like but I think it is really good practice, for college and like the real world. Just that communication is really important right now.
That's awesome to hear. The self-advocacy, right? Advocate for yourself. If you need something, say something. And Haley, I bet you all the money in the world your teachers are not tired of hearing from you.
I
know
hope
for a
not.
fact teachers are missing their kids, so I bet you they're not tired of hearing from you at all.
Yeah,
yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah. Kind of going off our beginning of giving a shout out to some teachers, I really just wanted to shout out, the music department. I've been involved all 4 years in band and choir, and Mr. Loeb, Mr. Baum, Miss Prince, and Mr. Dorhauer, they're all just doing so much to keep us involved and make sure that we can all still do what we love in making music and just making it the best experience possible, because we can't be in person together while singing and playing our instruments. And it's just really nice to know that, there are teachers there who are really dedicated to what they're doing and dedicated to making us feel like have some sort of normalcy, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. Whatever normal means anymore, right? Sometimes I feel like I forget.
Yeah, in a pandemic world, getting ready for students in this building was monumental, and it took, I think, a toll on our office. Just day in and day out, we're always looking to add more signage, to do one more protocol, and it got to the point where I think we saw kids in a building for a while, and we had really good success with it. And you see teachers adapting, like a Miss Kaler. And one thing that, I had to pause, and I was talking to the deans about this, is like, let's get back now and like really get with our kids. Like, we haven't seen our students in a long time. And we really got to like do some things, and so that's why like this podcast started. That's why we had the raffle today, to give back to kids for saying thanks to their teachers. There's going to be some other events that are coming up here. It's like, once we got over the hurdle to providing safety, because safety is always going to be the number one thing in our building. That's the first thing that I think of when I wake up every morning, regardless if we're in person or not, is, all right, are we safe? Are we good? Can we have kids in our building today? And then once we get past that point, it's like, now how can we enrich their experience here? And I hope it sounds like all of you have had really great experiences, even during difficult times. And so I want to thank you for doing that. And we'll continue to, on our end, come up with creative ideas, just like your teachers are, to make sure that you are where you need to be, both educationally and mentally, because the mental health is so important of all of our students right now. It's one of those things that I think about often. And how can we help support kids whose parents lost a job, who don't have food on the table, or, and those are the true impacts of this pandemic. And, those are the difficult things that we as educators, we face. And how can we help support all of our families in the community? And we do ask, and our deans have been doing a great job at getting out there, whether it's providing resources for students, on the home front, whether it's driving and delivering lunches, or, having students come in and connecting with them one-to-one, or I know our deans are doing remind messages for a mentoring group, and just, hey, wake up, how's it going? Let me know how your day is. Just connecting students with adults is so huge right now. So I don't want to get on my soapbox of this pandemic, but I really want to thank you guys in all of your efforts for this semester.
I want to say it's just good to see students' faces, right? We miss that when we're not in the building. Mr. Mannon and I are both teachers first, and we miss seeing you guys. We're thankful that we're able to provide you with any experiences that link you back to the school. And until we can get you back in here, we'll just be waiting here like this. When can we see you again? But it's been really cool to talk to you guys and get your perspective through all of this. That's what's up, RB.
That might be.
Did you see how I did that?
That might be the name of this podcast.
Fantastic.
Unless you guys have another idea.
It can be a statement. I love
Walter
it.
Cronkite, everybody. It's Walter
Thank
Cronkite.
you. A little bit better looking, I hope. Maybe a little younger, but thank you so much, Omar.
Hey, well, we thank you guys for joining on short notice for our Thanksgiving pilot podcast.
Yeah.
In the PSA Dome is what we would like to call this place.
Now it's a dome. It keeps evolving.
We're
It keeps
evolving
evolving.
this thing as we go along.
Yep.
Thanks, RBTV and Miss Weinberg on the 1s and 2s across the glass here. We hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks for jumping on with us, and hopefully we'll see you in the building soon.
Hey, the show's going to air the week of Thanksgiving. Check out rbtv.tv under TV schedule to find out when.
Awesome.
You guys
It's really
have a great
cool to
time.
see you guys.
Thank you for having us on.
Bye-bye, guys.
Yeah,
Have a good
thank
one.
you.